Long ago, the ancestors of the Githyanki were slaves, psionically bound to the Illithid empire that stretched across countless worlds. The Mind Flayers altered them over generations, shaping them into perfect thralls, intelligent, durable, and easily dominated. But in time, resistance stirred. A powerful leader named Gith rose up, uniting the people in rebellion. They led them to victory, striking back at the Illithids and unraveling their empire. The Gith were free, but their unity didn't last. After the war, a philosophical divide split the species. Gith's followers wanted to pursue conquest and vengeance, wiping out Mind Flayers wherever they hid, but a rival named Zerthamon preached introspection and discipline, arguing that they had become too much like their former masters. His followers became the Githzerai, settling in limbo and rejecting war. Those who stayed loyal to Gith became the Githyanki, the warriors of the Astral Plane. They would stop at nothing to finish the genocide Gith had begun. But Gith herself would not lead them forever. At Gith's side during the rebellion was her arcane advisor Vlaakith. When Gith vanished, possibly consumed by power, possibly betrayed, Vlaakith stepped into the vacuum. She declared herself queen, took Gith's name as a title, and began a dynastic line of rulers, each one named Vlaakith. For generations, this line continued. Vlaakith the 147th and the 152nd, each enforcing the same ideology, the same bloody mission. But then came Vlaakith the 157th. She refused to die. Rather than passing the crown to a successor, Vlaakith preserved herself through undeath, transforming into a lich. She has ruled ever since, for over 1,000 years, never aging, never relenting, from her throne in the city of Tunarath. Vlaakith watches over her people, not as a leader, but as a god in waiting. Buried in multiple sources like Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes and various issues of Dragon and Dungeon magazine, lies a strange, half-lost story. Before the rebellion, the Gith may have worshipped a goddess. She represented patience, endurance, and the quiet strength needed to survive captivity. But as Gith led her people into war, faith faded. The goddess grew weak and died, forgotten, abandoned. Her petrified corpse now lies buried in a desert on the world of Varagos, a battlefield between extraplanar armies. Unbeknownst to its inhabitants, that body still radiates divine power. It may even be the source of all magic on that world. Both the Githyanki and Githzerai are drawn to it, seeing in it a remnant of their past and a key to their future. For Vlaakith, this forgotten deity is more than a relic. Her death left a vacancy, a divine throne without a ruler, and Vlaakith intends to claim it. Vlaakith rules from one of the most surreal cities in the multiverse, Tunarath, a sprawling fortress city built on the petrified corpse of a dead god. Its massive skull drifts to the silver void of the Astral Plane, chained down by iron anchors the size of towers. And atop that skull, chained to it, sits the Queen's Quarter. Here, Vlaakith's palace, called Susurrus, rises like a black monolith of bone, steel, and sorcery. It is not a city of comfort. It is a city of conquest. Every street is lined with banners, shrines, and training halls. Every citizen is expected to train in sword and spell from early childhood, because Vlaakith demands nothing less than excellence. Vlaakith's rule is absolute, but it's not built on respect. It's built on terror. Any Githyanki who becomes too strong, too admired, or too clever is summoned to her palace and never seen again. Their soul is consumed, fled to Vlaakith herself. This isn't a punishment, it's policy. Vlaakith harvests the strength of her champions, to fuel her immortality and push her ever closer to her goals, that of godhood. She doesn't need to be physically present to rule, no. She watches through magic, mirrors, and informants. Her elite agents and inquisitors hunt down disloyalty before it ever leaves someone's lips. And so for centuries, the Githyanki have marched in lockstep. Not because they love her, no, but because, well, they fear her. To her people, Vlaakith is not just a monarch. She is legacy. She is eternity. There is no living Githyanki who remembers a time without her. Her image is everywhere, in temples, barracks, even carved into the sides of warships. Her worship is growing. Candles are lit beneath her statues, incense burns in her name. And Vlaakith, well, she encourages that. Because her ultimate goal isn't just conquest, no, it's apotheosis. She wants to become a god, not a symbol, not a leader. She wants to be a divine force. Vlaakith is more than a lich. She is a master of psionics, necromancy, and transmutation. She crafts her own magical items, rings, wands, even relics infused with stolen souls. She wears a jeweled robe, a crown of black metal, and wields two legendary artifacts, the Scepter of Ephemerlian and the Crown of Corruption. The Scepter was a gift from Ephemerlian, Tiamat's red dragon consort. It lets her command dragons, summon ancient ones across the plains, and grants her immunity to flame and fear. Most dragons wouldn't dare cross her anyway. But the crown, that's her own twisted invention. It allows her to dominate minds, raise the dead, and reshape souls into horrific undead creations. Two, in particular, the Vlaakith and the Garutsar. The Vlaakith are ghostly warriors, former Githyanki fighters and rangers, now reduced to spectral enforcers. They don't speak, they don't hesitate. They serve as Vlaakith's honor guard, cutting down enemies with silver swords and soulless precision. The Garutsar, by contrast, were once spellcasters. Now they burn with necrotic fire. Their bodies are withered, their minds are sharp. They act as Vlaakith's eyes across the multiverse, investigating threats and executing her will. These creatures are not accidents, they are her tools. Each one crafted to protect her throne and eliminate anyone who might threaten her path to divinity. But as her power grows, so too does the resistance. Some Githyanki whisper that she's gone mad, that her hunger for souls and godhood will doom them all. And others, powerful others, are not whispering at all. They're sharpening their blades. Because Vlaakith's next war might not be against mind flayers or the Githzerai. It might be against her own kind. For centuries, Vlaakith ruled unchallenged, but immortality breeds paranoia, and paranoia invites rebellion. A secret resistance has begun to stir beneath the polished surface of Tunarath. They call themselves the Shasaishku, the true way. Their heresy is simple. Vlaakith must fall. Some among them are idealists. They dream of uniting the Githyanki and Githzerai again, ending their eternal war. Others are pragmatists. They fear what Vlaakith has become, that her obsession with godhood has blinded her to the cost. And the Shasaiku are not a rumor, they are real. They operate in cells, in secret, and some of their members are very, very powerful. Beyond the rebellion, Vlaakith still faces her oldest foes. The Illithid Empire, while fractured, is far, far from dead. Elder brains plot revenge across the astral sea. New mind flayers are born every day. The Githzerai, led by the ancient monks Zerthamon, still wage their ideological war from deep within Limbo. And then there's Tiamat, Yes, the Dragon Queen supports Vlaakith. Yes, her red dragons serve as Githyanki mounts. But gods are fickle, and Tiamat is always watching for weakness. If Vlaakith ever falters, even for a moment, she might find herself devoured by the very power that once raised her up. Definite spoiler warnings here. In Baldur's Gate 3, Vlaakith isn't a distant god queen. She is an active presence. Throughout visions, commands, and astral projections, Vlaakith exerts direct control over her chosen agent, Laezel, a proud warrior of the Githyanki. From the very beginning, Vlaakith's influence is clear. Laezel has been raised to see her queen as a divine figure, the Undying Queen, rightful ruler of the Githyanki, and slayer of the traitor god Gith. To disobey Vlaakith is to forfeit one's life and soul. But the story complicates when Laezel and the player uncover truths long buried. They learn of Orpheus, the son of Gith, held in secret captivity within the Astral Prism. And they learn that Vlaakith has hidden this knowledge from her people for millennia. Later in the game, Vlaakith manifests directly before Laezel and the party. She offers a choice: kill Orpheus and be rewarded, or defy her and be branded a traitor. This moment is pivotal. To accept Vlaakith's will is to reinforce her reign through blood and silence. To refuse is to embrace a rebellion older than any living Githyanki. Laezel must choose between loyalty and liberation, between her queen and her conscience. Through this storyline, Baldur's Gate 3 brings Vlaakith to life not just as a villain, but as a deeply woven part of the Githyanki identity. She is a tyrant, yes, but she is also a symbol of pride, of pain, and of a people whose chains were never fully broken. Long before Baldur's Gate 3, Vlaakith's line crafted their rule on lies, and the most dangerous truth was her greatest secret. Orpheus, the son of Gith, the original rebel queen, was the rightful heir to the Githyanki throne. He led the honor guard in what later came to be called the War of the Comet, challenging Vlaakith's claim to power. He was defeated, presumed dead, but not slain. Instead, Vlaakith had him imprisoned within the Astral Prism, hidden away from history. His loyal monks, his honor guard, languished beside him, bound by duty and circumstance. Vlaakith then erased all records of him. In official accounts, she claimed she was Gith's chosen successor, that Orpheus died in battle. But fragments remain, ancient slates found in Kresh Yelek, revealed only to those with the cipher. They hint at the rebellion betrayed and a savior lost. Within Baldur's Gate 3, this hidden history resurfaces. The player learns Orpheus is alive and imprisoned. He embodies the stolen legacy of Gith. He represents an existential threat to Vlaakith's reign. If he were freed, her narrative collapsing, the entire empire could fracture. Orpheus carries the title, Prince of the Comet, true heir, and blood of the mother. Titles deliberately suppressed by Vlaakith to conceal his lineage and his power to resist Illithid control. If Orpheus regains freedom, he unravels everything Vlaakith built. He could unite the Githyanki and even bridge towards the Githzerai. He is not just an heir, he is a reckoning. So how do you sum up a ruler like Vlaakith? She shattered tradition. She seized forbidden knowledge and power. She turned an empire of nomads into a war machine feared across the multiverse. And she did it not for love or justice, but to carve her name into the bones of history. She is brutal, brilliant, and completely, utterly without mercy. To her people, she is both savior and a tyrant. To her enemies, she is death in regal form. And to herself, she is already a god, just waiting for the multiverse to catch up with her. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the iron-fisted queen of the Githyanki, give us a like, subscribe for more D&D lore, and drop a comment below. Would you serve Vlaakith for glory? or rebel in the name of freedom. And if you want more tyrants, liches, or cosmic horrors, or heroes, check out other videos on the channel on I always say lose is a bad habit, Elminster, Baba Yaga, and others. Until next time, keep your sword sharp, your soul your own, and your eye on the stars. This is James from the dungeon, Puffin. Later, guys.